When you think of the term or phrase dual language learner, what images come to mind? I don't really have a specific image, I guess. I think that term just means to me students who are learning or who have learned their native tongue and are also learning English. Um, I don't think it pertains to a specific age, gender, or race because America is a melting pot and people come from all over. And while the kid or the child may have learned, the native tongue while at home, now they're in the school system and also have to learn how to operate when it comes to using English in America. Some challenges that I think um, dual language learning children face in early childhood education settings is really just having support to give those children the things that they need, whether it be interpreters or translators, or even just it's something as simple as creating a document. Like if they send a flyer home to the family and the family doesn't speak English fully, actually somebody taking the time to make that translation for whatever the native tongue may be, to be able to make sure that that child is provided for, which I think also answers number three, um, because not being able to communicate with the child's family definitely affects how they're learning in the environment that they're in, because the family is a strong support for the kid, or sorry, the child. And if the learning facility can't effectively communicate with the family, then it could hinder the child's learning. um what assets do I think DLLs bring? Just a sense of diversity. It allows other children to see things outside of their world and their lives, to be able to, have empathy and compassion for others and their, I guess, history. Like if children did like a fun day where they brought in, things from their country, I think that's a good thing to have that diversity so that people can see life outside of themselves. Should DLL be taught in their first language in English or both in early childhood settings? I think doing both would be easy. Not easy, sorry. I think both would be, I guess, helpful because it allows the child, sorry, to express and explore their history and what makes them who they are, but also, learning English to be able to function in this country. So I think both things are help. It would be helpful in order for the child to grow, but I know it's not always an easy task. If you were a parent of a DLL in the early childhood education setting, what types of support or resources would you want for your child and family? Really, just like I said, the ability to communicate with the teachers and whoever else is included in the growth of my child, especially if I'm not very strong or fluent in English. Um, Having support, like something as simple, like I said, simple as communication goes a long way. And if I can have that communication with my child's teacher, or even like in other situations, the director of the school or the program, if need be, then I think that's really important. What are some strategies and or research you think should be present? Um, I don't really know much about dual language learners, so I wouldn't really know what resources they would need. Um, yeah, I don't really know much about that one, unfortunately. In ECS settings, should the DLs be assessed to screen using the same assessments and screening? I think they should, because they're still learning the same things. Um, should they have a little, more? I don't know, I really do think that they should be assessed on the same thing, because if they're learning the English or alphabet or whatever numbers while they're in school, they should still be able to take the assessments and be able to pass it, or be assessed so that they know what needs help or what areas they're weak in to potentially provide that additional assistance for that child.